Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Let me know in the comments. You know I love hearing from you. And today I'm saying goodbye to games. Now I know that the title of this video is a little bit sensational, but it's true to a point. I'm not announcing my retirement from board games. First of all, I don't think anybody cares. If I say I'm not going to play board games anymore, that affects no people, right? That's not true. There's a few people that would be upset about it. But what I am saying is that I don't collect board games anymore. When I got started in board gaming, it was 1996, and here in America, Magic the Gathering had been out for like 4 years or so. I don't remember when it started. And it was really the only game that was widely available that wasn't things like Monopoly or Risk. And, you know, if you went to the toy store or the game section of your Walmart, you just saw the classic kids games. Clue, you know, Chutes and Ladders, Monopoly. That was it. There was no other gaming. 1996, that all changed when Settlers of Catan was introduced, and I picked it up at Origins that year. It was the first time it had been imported. It was still in German. You had to get like a stapled together pamphlet of rules, and ever since then, board gaming has been my #1 hobby. And so for a very long time, I prided I prided myself on having a very complete collection. And I'm not saying that I had every game ever made, but I had all the good games, right? I had all the stuff that if you said, "Hey, I've been hearing about this game, I want to try it," I had it. And I collected games for years and years and years, and at some point I had a basement full of them. You know, 400 or 500, I don't know, hundreds upon hundreds of games. And 3 years ago, maybe even more than that, 4 years ago, when my life kind of really started to fall apart, gaming kind of had to take a back seat for a while, and my game group fell apart. We stopped meeting, but I discovered that the library had a Wednesday night group, so I started hanging out there, which allowed me to start playing some of these games again and experiencing them with new people and new friends. But you know, the family moved out. I started having my kids on the Wednesday nights, then soccer, and you know, so gaming has kind of, my love for board gaming has never diminished, but my ability to board game has diminished, as well as my ability to collect. You know, in the early 2000s when I was collecting, there was, you know, a few hundred games a year came out, and so you'd pick through those few hundred and find the 20 or so that were good, or you know. That's mean. That's rude. I don't mean it that way. But you picked 20 or so to get, and you tried them, and then you kept 10 of them. And that's how my collection grew. Nowadays, I think last year there was something like 7,000 games that came out. I can't keep up with that. I'll never be able to keep up with that. So it's time to say goodbye to these games that have been sitting in my basement for the better part of a decade, just collecting dust. You know, and some of them have collected mold because I've had some incidents with the washer kind of you know, leaking, and so some of them got moldy and I had to throw them away. Some of them, you know, just the boxes got moldy and I tried my best to salvage them. Some of them are completely irreplaceable. But Em and I want to finish the basement. We want to do some drywall down there. We want to make like a media room and a nice dark space where we can play video games and watch movies and, you know, have a second kind of living room. And the games are just taking up that space and they need to go. So this week it was like, you know what, I'm ready. Let's let it all go. I called my friend and said, come over and take whatever you want. I'm going to pick, you know, I'm going to keep one shelf. This is my shelf that I can fill with games that I want or that make me happy, and then everything else can just go. And he was like, do you want money? I'm like, no, I don't want anything. Just take them. Just make them go away. And whatever he doesn't take or whatever he didn't take, I offered to another friend, a close friend who lives out of state. He took a few, and the rest I'm going to take to the library and kind of donate them to the gaming group that I used to be a part of. I haven't been there in years. I haven't had the time or the drive to do it, you know. And it sucks. I still love games very much, and I still really enjoy the couple of times a month I get to play games with my friend Jeff, and then I always enjoy when Em and I get to play, even if it's just rummy. But I think there comes a point with any hobby where it becomes kind of a little it becomes overwhelming to the point that you can't keep up, and then you're trying to find joy in the newness of things, and then that kind of erases the joy for the things that you already have. And in a game, in a hobby like board gaming, to try to collect all of that, you need a spare house, or you have to have your whole house dedicated. So the pictures that you've been seeing, that was just in the basement. There's obviously games in pretty much every room in this. Actually, no, there are games in every single room in this house, and it's just time. It's time to pare it down to the games that I enjoy, and I'll keep 30-ish, 50-ish, 60-ish games around, and just kind of call that whenever it needs to. When I find myself not enjoying things anymore, I'll let them go instead of trying to pretend like I'm a collector. It's been a fun run, for sure. I used to spend too many hours a day on BoardGameGeek.com trying to find the new game that I needed in my collection, and I haven't been on that site for years in any real capacity. So that's a sign, I think. What about you? Do you collect board games? Do you have a spare room for them? Where do you keep all the ones that you play and don't play? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for being here, as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really, truly appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow. The word of the day today is aegis. It's a noun. The protection, support, and help rendered by a guardian, supporter, backer, or mentor. Jill thinks she's above reproach because she's under the aegis of that marketing vice president with a penchant for younger women. Aegis. A-E-G-I-S.